Hey there, this is Violina with Black Sheep 303 Creative, and my project today is a cute Halloween card using an awesome stamp set I got from the Greeting Farm this weekend at the Scrapbook Expo. It's so cute. And there you can see it's like a bunch of ghosts dressed up in Halloween costumes, and I just love it. And I also want to mention I'm having a giveaway with today's video, so stay tuned for the details on that. You will have to watch the video all the way to the end to get the magic word, but more details in a minute. So I'm stamping all the stamps, all the ghosts at least, and there will be a bat as well, in VersaFine Onyx black ink onto Bristol Smooth cardstock. I'm going to be using my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers to color this, and so VersaFine does become waterproof once you let it dry. And I did touch up the stamps with my Copic liner. Now there's my little cup of water, and then I have a water brush that doesn't have water in it, but I use it as my brush, and then my zigs. So for the ghosts bodies, I did them all the same way. So I added sort of shading where it seemed like there would be a little bit of shadow with 91 light gray, and then I pulled it out with water, basically, to leave the ghost bodies mostly white. Then for the witch's hat, I have 83 lilac, and then I'm going to add some shading with 80 violet, and then I'm going to just blend that back together with the 83 lilac. So this is going to be a combination kind of color into color as well as color with water. Two different methods you can use with the Zig markers, and both are amazing. Now you can see it gets really bright when you do color into color, which I wanted for this card. And then this is 41 light green for the band. And then 28 pale pink will be used on all the cheeks of these guys. And then I do like blend it out a little bit with some water. Her broom is going to be 51 lemon yellow. And then I'm going to add a little bit of texture with 67 mustard and blend it just a little bit with the yellow. Later I will actually add some orange to that as well. And then the broom handle is 61 light brown blended with a little bit of 60 brown. And then I use the Spectrum Noir gold sparkle marker on the star. And later I'm actually going to add some Nouveau drops to that too. Now for my princess ghost, which I just think is the funniest. Again, the 91 light gray is adding a little bit of shading. And then I'm going to use 25 pink for her mouth. And then the 28 pale pink, again, for her cheeks. Because, you know, they all have to have pink cheeks. Although my pink cheeks are fairly subtle. And then for her tutu, I used the 83 lilac again, and this I just blended with water. So I kind of added where it seemed like there'd be shading, and then I'm pulling the whole thing out and blending it out with water. And then I will go back with the marker and add in a few more like sort of wrinkles and shading here and there to just make that look a little bit realistic. And then the star gets the silver Spectrum Noir sparkle marker, and the crown gets the gold sparkle marker again. My pirate, which I think is, I mean, God, look at the stamps. They're so cute. Anyway, so the pirate, for his mustache, I used 60 brown, and then I blended a little bit with 64 oatmeal, but later, again, we'll go back with the 70 orange to add some more orange into the card. And, you know, pirate hats are generally black, but I didn't want to just go flat black because that would be really kind of boring and flat, as I mentioned. So I'm starting off with 92 blue gray, and I just wanted to pull it out and see what I would wind up with. And that was with the water, and then that was just like too light. So then I added some 35 deep blue because I wanted it to be like, you know, a super dark color, like maybe dark navy that was almost black, but then that was like too blue because it's pretty bright. And that by that time it was pretty wet, so I needed to set it to the side. Now I'm going to skip the kitten or the cat and the devil for this because they're pretty basic coloring, but the colors I used will be available on the blog post if you're interested. Now with Dracula here, I did use 80 violet kind of as the base, and then I'm pulling it out with water, and that's really, really purple. Now I used black on his hair, and then wine red on the inside of his coat. And the water actually does kind of a fun thing with the black on his hair that you'll see in a minute once it's dry. And then so then I went back with black on the cloak and then blended it out with the 80 violet, and that got me like kind of the dark color I was going for. And then I just filled back in with the wine red on the bottom. And now I'm putting in some shading on the body. I did get a little bit of bleeding between the gray and the red, but you can kind of dab that up with your finger or a cloth. And then you can see how like the black dried kind of funky. It's got the white spot in the middle or the really light spot, and I liked that. So I did go over it again with the black, and it did the same thing when it dried. And now I'm darkening down the pirate hat with black, and that finished him off really nicely. Now here's the stamp set I'm giving away. It is Spooky Sentiments from Elizabeth Craft Designs. I have used this on pretty much all the Halloween cards I've done this year. It's a cute set. So what you need to do to be entered in the giveaway is to leave me a comment. You have to like the video and leave me a comment on the video using the magic word that I will give you at the very end of the video. So your comment will need to include that word in order for me to enter you into the random drawing. And I will do the drawing on Monday, October 10th, 2017. So if you're watching this after that, it's no longer valid. Now there are dies that go with that. I'm not giving the dies away, sorry, but they are available and they're super cute. And there's a birthday set that also works with those dies. Now for my background, I wanted to do this blended technique with Distress Oxides. There have been a few other videos this year with people doing sort of this color combo, and I just couldn't resist it. So this is Spiced Marmalade, and I'm blending it onto Bristol, also another piece of Bristol Smooth cardstock. So I'm blending from the craft mat onto the card, and then I'm going into Picked Raspberries, the second color. Again, blending from the craft mat onto the cardstock. The great thing about Distress Oxides, like if you have trouble getting a smooth blend with Distress inks, Distress Oxides are much easier to blend. And like I'm going back with the Spiced Marmalade to kind of smooth over between the Picked Raspberry and the Spiced Marmalade. And the Bristol, also the paper, also makes it really easy to blend as well. And so this is Wilted Violet. And so I'm actually kind of going down the sides, so it kind of looks like a sunset a bit. And then I'm going to blend again with the Picked Raspberry over the Wilted Violet. And again, I'll go back. I kind of blend back and forth between colors to kind of smooth out the blends as we go. And then I wanted to do black along the edge. So this is Black Soot. But even along the edge, it just seemed too bright. So I decided to add just a touch around, like more kind of coming into the colors, just to make it a little bit spookier, if you will. And I do get it a little bit into the orange, and it looks a little like messy, but I kind of liked it because to me it sort of looked like weird dark Halloween smoke or something along the bottom. And then I will blend it again here with the Spiced Marmalade to just soften it down just a bit. And that is the completed background. And then I'm going to take my black marker and go all around the edges just to kill any white that might show once I add it to that plaid mat, which is up in the upper left. And I actually did the same thing to the plaid mat as well. Now this plaid paper is paper I did purchase last year at Hobby Lobby. So it's Paper Studio paper called Halloween Plaid. I don't know if that's still available, and so I'm going to link to a different plaid paper in the supplies for those who don't have a Hobby Lobby near you to check that out. So, but it is a similar plaid. It's not quite the same, but fairly close. Now for my ghosts, I am going to be adhering them down with a combination of either 6mm or 3mm Elizabeth Craft Designs double-sided adhesive tape or foam tape. So the witch is being raised up on foam tape, and you may have noticed I add glossy accents to the trick or treat sort of button there to give it some shine. And you may notice also that I'm not putting too much adhesive on the backs of these guys. Like I don't want it to be totally flat. I do this with flowers also. Like I kind of just put adhesive in the middle to let them create their own dimension. And when it's flat against the paper, it's fairly subtle. Obviously the foam tape gives them automatic dimension, but it helps add like a subtle dimension to the overall composition. And then my bat, I will use a little piece of 3mm adhesive in the center to adhere him down. And then once I have them all together, I'm going to put 10mm double-sided adhesive tape on the back of this guy and adhere him into the middle of the plaid mat. Now, I can't make a card without sparkle. So even though I had the Spectrum Noir Sparkle marker going, I had to add some extra Nouveau glitter drops in Golden Sunset to the star on the witch just to be extra glittery. And then I have these iridescent lime green sequins that I actually got at the Scrapbook Expo, and I'm using micro dots to adhere them down. So they work really well for that. Now the super tiny ones, I had to wad up the micro dot a little bit to get them to stick to be like behind the tiny sequin like this one. But they work really well, and with regular sequins, you just have to twist them a little bit to get the dot to come off, and then they stick like crazy. And I wanted to add a little bit of white into the greeting to pull out the white from the ghost, so I took my white glaze pen and I went around the black dots in the greeting to just add in a white center. And that is the completed project. And then there's a greeting on the inside that says, "Have a magical Halloween," which is part of the stamp set, and I added a little glittery star with that as well. And there's some close-ups of the coloring. So you can see their cute little pink cheeks, but aren't they the cutest stamps? I just think they're adorable. So please check out the Greeting Farm. They are a newer stamp company. I am not getting any kind of affiliate help with this, so I just thought they were so cute and I wanted to introduce them to you. Okay, so the magic word is spooky. So you must leave me a comment that uses the word spooky in it, so I know that you have watched the video all the way through, and I will enter you into the random drawing. So if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Have a great day. Thanks.